gamers? I'm Jason.
I'm Julie.
And today on Dice and Dragons, we are going back to the world of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and particularly the board game, as we review its expansion, Friends and Frenemies, once again designed by Thomas M. Grofton from Lynn Vander Studios and published by Jasco Games. Now I'll toss it over to Julie, who's going to tell you more about the game itself.
So it's a cooperative game that plays 1 to 6 players. It's intended for ages 14 and above and plays in about 45 to 60 minutes.
Now, I do believe you can play it with someone that is younger than 14 years old. I'd say it's fairly straightforward in terms of how you play the game. You can take a look at our how to play. I'm going to have that video pop up. So there'll be a card. It'll be over Julie's face. So
Depends on how high I'm sitting.
Yeah. So go ahead and take a look at it if you want to learn how to play the game. As we're only covering the expansion in this video, we'll review the components and then go on to our review.
Sounds good.
Yes. So what are you doing in this expansion that is different than the base game? Well, in this expansion, you get a new sideboard. You get the addition of some new characters, which is the real reason to get the game, with the addition of 6 characters. So the full cast of Scoobies are now available for you to choose from. You do get the outskirts of Sunnydale, and the initiative is roving around Sunnydale trying to capture some demons. Unfortunately, not helping you out with vampires, and in general, just getting in your way. So with that being said, Julie, what time is it?
Oh, it's time to grab our drinks.
Grab our fellow Scooby.
It's a wrong show. It's not the Scoobies.
Yeah, it's the Scoobies. They call them the Scooby. Wow, you really haven't watched a show in a while.
Okay. We're going to take it to the table.
We're going to take it to the table. Now we're going to take a quick look at the components for Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the board game, Friends and Frenemies. We'll also briefly discuss how to use this board, as well as the new soldier tokens and the military actions. So first and foremost, we'll start off with the new board. So as you can see, you do get the Sunndydale Outskirts. There's a capture track as the initiative soldiers will be trying to capture demons. And we've got these new locations that you can see with new actions that you may use. Now, you'll notice no arrows connecting to the main board. Baddies that are on this board cannot move back and forth to the main board. All right, now that we've looked at that, let's take a look at what else we have. We do get the new Big Bad, Spike, and Drusilla. They've got some nasty effects right here. Of course, we get a standee for the Big Bad. We also get Dark Willow. So we have her as well. A standee for Dark Willow. Now it's important to note that in the rules, you cannot play as Spike nor as Dark Willow if you're fighting their respective big bads. Now here we've got the rest of the Scoobies. We've got Riley Finn, Daniel Osborne, Anya Jenkins, Faith Lahane, Tara McClay, and Dawn Summers. We get standees for all of them. We also have the new initiative base token. This goes over the initiative base because, as you saw, there's a new capture track, so we can free some demons, stop them from doing their experiments. And then, as I mentioned, we have the new soldiers, which do count as townies. Don't worry, we'll go over that in just a moment. We do get a new artifact. Now, what's interesting about the artifact is that each time you perform a move action, when you have this, you may save a townie. So something that was missing from the base game is now available. We've got the Rabbit's Foot, which lets you take a fight action to rescue a townie or discard to rescue a townie in your location. Of course, we've got the new plot cards, the Big Bad cards for Drusilla and Willow. And I neglected to put it out, but it's fitting that it was where it is, actually. We do also get the Werewolf card for Oz. As you can see, it changes up what your fight is, what your special action is, but you do have some limitations. So you can either be in human mode or in werewolf mode. So we'll just place that over there. And then lastly, we've got the military action cards, which are cards that you'll draw, and you'll notice their effects are similar to what are on the original event cards. Now, let's talk about how the military action works, how the soldiers work. So basically, you will take a military action at the same time as you're taking an event action. You reveal the card, you follow what you need to do. So if it says a soldier assaults Sunnydale Port, and a soldier assaults the military compound, you would place them on the board. It does tell you, right? Also, if there is at least one soldier sharing a location with the demon, you add one demon to the capture track, meaning that demon got captured. Now, how does this work? Well, we have the new turn order sequence on the back of the rule book, which tells you that the big bad will activate first, followed by the monster of the week, then the soldiers. Now, don't forget, soldiers are considered townies, so they can be killed and go on the apocalypse track by baddies. Well, not baddies, but more the monster of the week and the big bad, because you'll notice that they will return to the supply if they don't capture a demon or wound a character. Now, the rule book's very straightforward, shows you the game components, talks about how to use the sideboard, new characters, and then it just tells you how to play with the Friends and Frenemies expansion. It's fairly straightforward, as well as just some new appendixes and some FAQ stuff. So there you have it. Those are the new components for Friends and Frenemies, plus a brief overview as to how you use these soldiers. Now, don't forget, something that spawns here cannot go back over onto the main board. Now, keep it right here, as Julie and I will be coming back at you with our review of the expansion. So, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Friends and Frenemies, what did you think of this expansion?
It's okay. It's probably not, I'm going to start off, I guess, with a little bit of a negative. It's not the most comprehensive of all the expansions we've seen. And, you know, there's some expansions that really offer a lot more. I find this one a little bit on the light side, personally.
No, and I'll agree with you. I think this expansion, more so than anything else, it gives you two big bads that were fairly famous from the show, Spike and Drusilla, as well as Willow, Dark Willow. Fortunately, you can't play Willow versus Dark Willow, but if you want to do it, it's fun anyway. Imagine it as an alternate timeline version or something. Who knows? Crazy stuff happened in the show. Mm-hmm. But I think the main addition really is the characters. Getting the other characters like Faith, oh my God, Oz. Yes, I was trying to think of his full name. I'm just going to go with Oz. Also being able to play as Dawn. Just getting all those characters thrown into the game, I think, is really what you're getting out of this expansion.
Mm-hmm. You know, so it was fun to play with the new characters. I don't really feel like Sunndydale Outskirts offers much to the game.
It did come into play when we were playing 4 players. It was very useful.
Yeah, it did come. Yes, it did help there. It didn't help us much in our 2-player game. And the initiative, like you said, really just gets in your way.
No, I will say I'm not a fan of the initiative mechanic. I do think for the fact that they're adding a fairly big negative, our last game we essentially lost because of a spawn on an initiative card. It's fairly frustrating, to be honest. We sort of gambled, made a bet. We're like, well, we're going for score, we're going for ending the game quickly. So we took a round to try to end the game. But on the military action that spawned, well, didn't go our way. We had a townie spawn in the same space as a baddie, and that was the thing that put us over that apocalypse limit. So it would be nice if the soldiers interacted with the vampires or did something besides capturing demons, because I feel like you get essentially 2 spawns that occur, but with no positive benefit out of the second one. I feel like that is making the game harder, which is fine, but I would like to see the scales a little bit more balanced.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Faith was fun to play with. She's a fun character. You know, and it was Dark Willow definitely has her challenges and is an interesting big bad, but
oh man, she really just adds stacks onto that apocalypse track. We had a little bit of bad luck, but better planning, one better spawn, we have the game in hand.
So for me, I mean, it definitely does continue in the theme of the show, and it adds more content. If you're a big, huge Buffy fan, you know, if this were X-Files, I might feel a little bit differently than I do for Buffy. In this case, I'm just like, yeah, still there's extra content. I would say if you really love the first game and you want additional content, then that's definitely something to have. I'm not saying you shouldn't have this in your collection. I just don't think it's a mandatory to have to expand the Buffy game.
No, and just for those of you that may be finding us for the first time, the way we like to review expansions is sort of, what does it add to the game? Does it make the game better? So for example, when we were playing the Power Rangers game by Renegade Game Studios. We weren't in love with Shattered Grid, but having the Kickstarter exclusives, which gave you the white light and the ability to play at 6 Rangers, made the game that much more fun. So that's sort of just the way that we look at expansions. And while this game does expansion adds a lot of content into the game in terms of variability, new bosses, some new abilities. The Rabbit's Foot was fantastic, actually. Having the ability to rescue townies, love it. Actually made a big difference in our 4-player game. Didn't make as much of a big difference in our 2-player game. It really didn't come into play. So that being said, this does expand everything that you love about Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the board game. If it's one of your favorite games, you need this expansion. You're going to have all your characters. Faith is awesome. I got to play her as well. And her ability to just wreck shop makes her rival even Buffy in terms of sheer slaying ability, which I really like because it was like that on the show. And they even sort of contrasted the two of them where Faith was a little bit more of a darker character, more ruthless, and might be even better in combat. So capturing the essence of the characters and the theme, I think this expansion does perfectly. The question is it going to get this to the table more often for us? And I'll let Julie answer that question.
I'm not saying that I would get rid of it from our collection, but I don't think it's going to make it to the table that often. Definitely not.
Not because of the expansion. That's
No.
what I meant. Sorry if I wasn't clear.
Yeah. The expansion won't make it get to the table more often, no.
No. The expansion does enhance the Buffy fans' experience, though. So coming at it from that point of view, I think we've said as much as we needed to say. We did review a little bit how the Outskirts works in our component overview, where we just talked about the military actions and how the Outskirts interacts with the main board. So we've covered everything. Julie, what is your rating for this expansion?
I think it's a 6.
I give this expansion a 6 as well. It's something that's essential for a Buffy fan. It's something that if you like the game, you're thinking about picking it up, it can go either way. Now, if your favorite character's in here, go ahead and pick it up. I think you're going to enjoy it.
Agreed.
All right, so what time is it, Julie?
Well, it's time to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified when we have some new content for you.
And down below in the video description, you will find links to all of our social media feeds, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You want to see us playing Buffy the Vampire Slayer. We played it with the Cyberbards, so you can see how that went. You want to see us playing together? We got some images there. Also, if you go back far enough, you may see some other Buffy games that we played. And then popping up in front of us will be links back to the previous content that we've done, our most recent upload. And as we already had a link earlier on to our how to play for this game, we'll have a link that will take you back to our review of Buffy Legendary.
Sounds like a plan, so I think it's time to grab our drinks.
Grab our fellow Scooby.
Best friends.
Well, Scoobies are best friends. I mean, friends, frenemies, works.
We're going to keep playing games.
Keep playing games. Looking forward to see if there will be another expansion to really change this one up. Well, Angel is coming. I'm really curious how all of that's going to work together.